we've been here for a collective of about 8 or 10 years across my two boys, and my boys love coming to school every day. They talk about school. It's their place. They love it. It's a very inclusive environment, and they really thrive very much here.
The things we really like is the class sizes are nice and small. And my son, for instance, not only does he know everybody in his grade, but I know all the parents in the grade. So it's really comforting to know that if there's any issues or a problem, I can just talk to the parents directly. You don't have to go through the school with all this kind of thing. Every time there's a day off, there's a play date going on, there's something happening. There's a lot of after-school activities that my kids have participated in, and they've all been really good. They're really well run, organized. I think when you go to a private school, that's something that I worry about, because I like my kids to have a lot of choices. And St. Ben's has had a lot of choices for them to try things after school.
Okay.
Now they have a band program, which is fantastic. Twice a week they get to play an instrument in school as well as after school, so I don't have to run around and do something extra. So that's been really nice too.
My kids are in first grade and the second year of preschool, and one of the things they love the most about school are the electives. They get so excited to go to Spanish class and learn new language. They love music. My daughter learned to play the glockenspiel in music class, and she's super excited about that and is now considering starting piano as a result of her positive experience. And one of the coolest things are these computer classes where we have kindergartners knowing so much, even more than some adults do, about how to navigate through the computer. And the other thing they love is, of course, all kids love gym class, but one of the cool things they did this year is that all the first graders ran a mile the week of the Chicago Marathon. And I think they came home with their certificate and they were so proud of their achievements.
When my daughter was in kindergarten, I had the opportunity to come in as a parent volunteer, and I was so excited to get to be in the classroom because kindergarten is my absolute favorite age. And her teacher asked me if I could work with the students in a math center. And so every once in a while I would come in and I would work with these groups, and I was amazed what, as an educator, you could do when you were able to work in small groups. I could be sitting with a group of 5 students, and I could be challenging this student, and I could be remediating another student, and still teaching the core lesson to the whole group. It was amazing. I'd been to grad school and I'd heard about differentiated education, but in all my years of teaching, in classes above 30, I was never able to really put into practice what I was taught in grad school. But all of a sudden, in this classroom where I was getting to work with 5 and 6 students at a time, I understood. It was possible to meet the needs of every child in a small group setting without making anyone feel like their needs weren't being met, without making anyone feel they were different or special. It was a great experience for me as a parent and as an educator.
So when we were looking for a school for our daughter, we wanted a school that not only had a good reputation academically in the city, but we also wanted a school where the values that we teach our daughter at home were reinforced and promoted. And looking around, we found that St. Ben's was the school that did both of those things.
I really liked his sense of community. And not growing up in a Catholic school, I didn't really understand that until one time I was dropping my kids off, and I was dropping them off a little bit early for school, and they had to go outside and walk in. And my son was in kindergarten, and my daughter was in preschool, and I saw a big group of larger kids standing in front of the school. And I thought to myself, boy, when I was a kid, if I saw a big group of kids, I would not approach them. So I kind of stopped and I waited to see what was going to happen. And all of a sudden the big kids turned around and they just embraced my kids because they all knew them. They knew them from the Career Buddy program, they knew them from the sports programs, and my kids were being picked up and trolled around, and everybody was so happy to see them. And then I knew right then that they were going to be fine. So that to me was a really nice example of what the community of St. Benedict is like.
My daughter was in preschool, her second year preschool here at St. Benedict's. At the same time, I was teaching in one of the best Chicago public schools. And ever since the minute I'd started teaching at this school, I thought, my kids will come here. This is great. I don't have to worry about where they're going to go to school. But about midway through my daughter's second year of preschool, I wasn't comfortable with that decision. And I decided maybe I should educate myself and look at St. Ben's a little bit closer. So I came to Catholic Schools Week open house, probably a little later than I should have been starting this whole process. But I came to Catholic Schools Week open house, and I remember being surprised at how outstanding the curriculum choices were. I I guess I thought, oh, this is a Catholic school. There's going to be a lot of religion and praying in church, and I discounted the curriculum. But then I came here, and they're using the best math curriculum. They're doing fantastic things in reading, and there's Spanish, and the kids are just really being well educated, and I was so surprised. And I was so happy to see that, because I knew that I loved the community here at St. Ben's, but I knew that I wanted my daughter to be really enriched in the classroom, and then I saw this great curriculum, and I thought, wow, this is somewhere I've got to take a closer look at. At the same time of year, in my classroom, I had 34 students, and I was really frustrated. There were some things going on in my classroom that I really wanted to spend time working on character education. But here's the reality. When you have 34 kids in your classroom, you're teaching to the middle student. You've got low-end kids being farmed out to special ed. You've got high-end kids that are probably bored. And you don't have time to do anything other than teach to the middle. You certainly don't have time to character educate. And I really struggled, because I wanted to spend time on it. I thought it was important that these children be taught about values and morals and all those things, but there was no time for that, and I was frustrated. So as a parent, I put on my parenting hat, and I thought, well, I want that for my daughter. I want her to have character education. So as I was looking at St. Ben's, I saw, a lot of diversity in the kids that were here, and a lot of wonderful things. And the one common thread I saw between the community, the parents, the faculty, the administration, was everybody had a shared set of values, and they all wanted the students to not only be well educated, but to be educated to become good people. And the values that we had at home, the things that we wanted to teach our children, were being reinforced here at the school and within the school community. And I just put a lot of value on that. I thought that was so important, that not only was my child going to be educated from a great curriculum standpoint, but that her character was going to be developed, and she was going to grow to be a wonderful, kind, generous person. And my daughter's in 3rd grade right now, and I haven't regretted that decision.
And also, as an educator myself, having taught in the city and the suburbs, we were really interested in having our daughter in an area that is diverse, but also focuses on community, and that there was a small class size so that she felt comfortable to take risks, and that she also was building relationships based on a foundation of friendship, but also on the belief of God and family and faith. So we have been very happy with the experience, and our daughter just tells us every day how it's the right choice by her smiling.
She had some difficulty with reading. The teachers were quick to communicate with us, whether it was through email or notes, or just even in passing at the beginning of school or after school. And that alleviates and prevents a variety of difficulties that can occur that it may be in other circumstances with other teachers or other maybe even other administrators, you just don't get the kind of communication. Her items can fall through the cracks. And that's certainly one of the reasons we're at St. Benedict and will continue to be at St. Benedict.
We also really like that we feel that our children are going to school in a community where they're loved and nurtured, and they're at school for 7 hours a day, and it's nice to know they come home, they're happy, they have confidence, they learn to look an adult in the eye, they learn respect, they learn values.
Every teacher is very approachable. If we have a question, we can get them before school or after school, or even send emails during the day.
Okay.
And they usually get back to us by the end of the school day, which is very nice.
Okay.
So we just feel that the communication with the teacher is good, and the sense of values that they learn are something that they don't get. They wouldn't be getting at another school. We also feel that, our son is a normal, average kid, and the smaller class size allows for him to have that individual attention, whereas if he was in a big classroom.
So me on St. Ben's was my oldest daughter, who's now in 3rd grade, who's been here since the preschool, came to the elementary school, and through 1st grade I saw a lot of individualized attention to her. She was struggling a little bit in math, and her teacher really helped out. I had great communication with her, and I was done. I thought it was very one-on-one and catered to my daughter's talents, which were worked on, as well as the things she needed more help with. So that was it for me.
And I've said this before on a variety of occasions with other parents. Very much a family feel here at St. Ben's. And that's just not a throwaway phrase. It is a true phrase that you have an opportunity to grow and be with people and enjoy the opportunities you have. And whether that's through meals or cups of coffee or opportunities to meet parents, our family has grown in insurmountable directions simply because we've been here 7 years. I mean, we've got friends, we've got neighbors, we've got folks that we know and love that are all centered on St. Benedict.
I continue to volunteer in the classroom on a number of occasions, both in, coming in and helping out with lunch, at recess time, also in terms of, ball and auction programs and things like that. So it's been a really unique experience because if I go to any first grade class, I know almost all of the kids, which is really, really beneficial for me as, watching my son thrive and how he relates to all these kids. I know them all, they know me, and that's fantastic. And the other thing that I'd add to that is the teachers, and especially Miss Gemmo, are always incredibly responsive to any question that ever comes up. I feel like they are very, very accessible, whether it's just, how we're going to do drop-off or whether there's an issue in the classroom. They're always accessible, and I found that very valuable.
It was one of the things that drew us to the school, but there was a mystique about it. Okay, what's this community and how are we going to be a part of it? And then you're here and you find yourself spending time here even more than you should. A lot of people look to escape the school on the weekends and during the summer, but there's just always something fun to do here for the family. And we also appreciate the sense of wholeness in the education where you're not just learning academics and to be, of course, in a Catholic school, good Christian followers, but the sense of we are part of a larger community that we support, and part of our job as children and families are to be